coordinating our support is as urgent as ever. Putin is following his war agenda with grim determination and has no interest in true negotiations. He talks about peace in the morning, but by evening he fires drones and missiles at Ukrainian cities and civilians. Putin wants to buy time with this cynical game. He believes that his military machine will prevail in the long run, but he is mistaken. Russia's war machine is not only bringing, as we heard earlier, suffering and destruction to Ukraine, but also to the Russian people. It pays no heed to Russia's own losses and causes the death of thousands of Russian soldiers. It serves to maintain the power of an inhuman regime that is blinded by imperial delusions of grandeur and brings great harm to Russia itself. Together we have to stop this war machine by joining forces to support Ukraine with all our might. First and foremost, this requires us to urgently bolster Ukrainian air defense. Germany will provide additional air defense systems and much-needed ammunition. On top of that, I agreed with Pete Hegseth during my trip to Washington, D.C. last week that Germany will contribute to providing the 5 urgently needed Patriot systems as quickly as possible. How we can achieve that is something we will coordinate closely and in a spirit of mutual trust among partners within the next few days. I already want to thank Secure for his support in bringing this coordination to a successful conclusion. Germany and its partners will also contribute to this effort with the resources that we are currently mobilizing as part of our enduring action on air defense. Let me take this opportunity to thank Belgium, Denmark, Sweden and Norway for their significant contributions here. Only a few weeks after the relaunch of the initiative, there are already indications that we can significantly top last year's success. In addition, we will, together with our British friends, provide 220,000 rounds of 35mm ammunition for the Gepard anti-aircraft gun system at short notice, financed by Germany. To protect the skies above the Ukraine, we have to support the Ukrainian armed forces in their offensive efforts to weaken Russia's aerial warfare capabilities. That is why we are financing the comprehensive procurement of long-range UAVs from Ukrainian production. These systems are already proving their value on the battlefield. They are destroying Russian aircraft, drones and missiles on the ground well before they can pose a threat to Ukraine, its urban centers or infrastructure. The first systems, financed by Germany, will be delivered to the Ukrainian armed forces within the next few days and will be ready for immediate use. And we are going to strengthen this capability further by providing additional investment and arranging a close technical cooperation between the German and the Ukraine defense industries. This sends a clear message to Putin. Dragging out the war will come at an ever higher cost to him. Ukraine will continue to successfully defy Putin's war machine and will weaken it a little more every day. It is our duty, colleagues, and our obligation to actively support our Ukrainian friends in this regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Boris. Can I now turn to Dennis and then to Rustem? And after we've heard from them, I will ask the press that are on this call at present to withdraw, and then we'll move into the battlefield update led by General Horbachev.
Thank you so much, dear ministers, dear secretaries, dear colleagues and partners, friends. Thank you for supporting Ukraine in our fight for peace. It is an honor to address you today as Ukraine's new Minister of Defense, and I look forward to working closely with all of you. Our partnership is vital to Ukraine's strength and resilience, but before we begin, I would like to invite my colleague, former Minister of Defense, Secretary of National Security Council, Rustem Umerov, to share his remarks. So, Mr. Secretary, dear Rustem, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, partners, friends, today marks my 14th and final Ramstein session since I first stood among you in September 2023. It has been one of the greatest honors of my lifetime to represent Ukraine in this forum of unity. Throughout my time as a Minister of Defense, only one purpose has guided my heart: to secure Ukraine's independence and ensure freedom of our people. I've dreamed every day a future where our children grow up without sirens, without fear, where every family feels safe in their own home, because everyone deserves that. Over the last 2 years, we've built more than a defense effort. We've forged a united coalition. We've launched joint production, welcomed your defense companies to Ukraine, and brought our companies to your countries. This is an investment both in security of today and prosperity of the future. Our transition of leadership is a part of that future. It is my honor to pass the torch to the new Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Denis Shmyhal. Just as you have trusted me over these 2 years, I invite you to put your trust in Minister Shmyhal. Minister Shmyhal takes on this role with a strength and experience. The mission continues with the same clarity, the same urgency. In 2025, international security assistance for Ukraine reached a record-breaking 43 billion, the highest figure since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. Together with our partners, we built 9 functional capability coalitions. We launched the transfer of F-16s and Mirages. We invited the drone coalition, granting us technological advantage on the battlefield. And as this mission carries forward, the impact of your support continues to echo where it matters most: on the front lines, with those who risk everything for our freedom. Ukraine is no longer just a recipient. We are now a fully fledged contributor to joint production. Over the past 2 years, we have invested more than 20 billion into our own defense industry. Today, nearly 40% of frontline needs are covered domestically, and 95% of drones used at the front are made in Ukraine. I want you to never forget one thing: our soldiers in the trenches rely on your support. You kindle fire in the hearts of our warriors. Every shell, every vehicle, every missile sends a message to our servicemen: you're not alone. The free world stands beside you. And that belief, that solidarity, that hope is more powerful than any other weapon. Thanks to Danish model, for the first time ever, our partners directly invested in Ukrainian defense enterprises, bringing in over $4 billion. Together with our allies, we've already delivered more than 20 joint projects. Many others are underway and will yield results very soon. And as I say goodbye to this role, I carry deep pride in what we have built together. And as I transition to my new position as the Secretary of the National Security Council of Ukraine, I know that my country is not walking this path alone. Thank you for your partnership, your leadership, and most of all, your belief in Ukraine. Slava Ukraini.
Thank you, dear Rustem, for your kind words. Dear colleagues, as a former Prime Minister of Ukraine, I fully understand the level of responsibility that rests on the Minister of Defense of a nation at war. That is why I want to assure you, dear friends, that transition in the Ministry of Defense will be smooth. Operations will proceed without pause. Everything we have accomplished together will remain a priority. Dear partners, Ukraine is fighting not only for our sovereignty, we fight for our joint values and peace on the European continent. We are grateful to stand shoulder to shoulder with you in these joint efforts. Ukraine Defense Contact Group remains the key platform for coordinating international military assistance to Ukraine. Today, I want to use this opportunity to appeal to you, our partners and allies, for further support. My first request related to the urgent procurement of the US weapons for Ukraine. Air defense, especially Patriot and PAC-3 missiles, along with ammunition, are crucially important to us. This night, another one, massive combined attack, 24 missiles, 426 drones, battle drones, attacked Ukraine civilian objects. Again, we have casualties and victims among civilian population. So Russian terror is continuing, so we need to strengthen our air defense. I request the US to make these weapons available for purchase and our European partners to extend all the needed financing for their procurement. My second request is for financial support. Ukraine needs $6 billion to close this year's procurement gap. This will allow us to build more FPV drones to hold the line, more interceptor drones to counter Shahid attacks, and additional deep strike weapons to take the war back to Russia. Third is preparation for 2026. I call upon our partners to allocate funds for Ukraine in their 2026 budgets proposals starting now. Safe loans are another critical source for financing for the coming year, and we need to ensure Ukrainians' inclusion in this program. Our mission is collective, and our unity remains our greatest strength. I look forward to working with all of you, with each of you, to achieve these goals and secure a lasting peace. Let me give the floor for a minute to Ukrainian Chief Commander General Syrskyi for the short remarks. Mr. General, please.
Thank you. Federal Minister of Defense, Secretary of State, Honorable Ministers of Defense and their representatives, colleagues. First of all, allow me to express my sincere gratitude to everyone for staying with us in an evil but faithful time for Ukraine. I'm grateful for the active political support and comprehensive military assistance of our allies. I can assure you that with these efforts side by side with Ukrainian soldiers, you defend our land from the aggressor and at the same time protect the democratic values and security of Europe. I will be frank, without the weapons, financial assistance, training of our defenders, humanitarian projects and our comprehensive support provided to Ukraine, it would be 1,000 times more difficult for us to overcome the brutal aggression of Russia. I can convince you that the invasion of the Russian Federation in Ukraine has changed our lives, but it has not changed us and our principles that we share together with the democracies of the world. Russians can still kill us, ruin our houses and infrastructure, but they can't defeat our will to freedom and desire to be a part of a Euro-Atlantic community. Our priority is not only to destroy the Russian military machine, but also to continue implementing reforms and developing democratic principles in the whole sphere of life. Moreover, we have to save the lives of our civilians and our warriors. For this purpose, I have to call for increasing the assistance to Ukraine once again. We are still critically lacking the air defense systems and missiles for them, the long-range weapons, artillery shells, armed vehicles, evacuation equipment, electronic warfare systems, radars, unmanned systems, and other. I believe we should rely more on each other to achieve greater results together. Only by joint efforts we would stop Russian aggression here and now, thereby making a real impact on history and achieving collective security for the nation of Europe and the world. I look forward to an effective and mutually beneficial meeting and further productive activity in implementing the agreements reached today. Thank you for your attention. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава. Thank you so much, Mr. General. Thank you, dear colleagues.